when you think of sustainability holistically, it's completely impossible to be sustainable without money. Mm-hmm. The whole agenda of sustainability is a personal agenda. Mm-hmm. If there's anything you'll ever have to do, empower your wife. Mm-hmm. If you empower your wife, you empower yourself. Mm-hmm. If you want to be wealthy, use other people's money. Debt is not all bad debt. Fear is crippling. Fear can cripple you, but also fear can propel you. And I let it propel me. I can tell you, Barack, for the entire of the year 2023, me have not looked for work. Work has looked for me. Mm-hmm. When you have no journey, then faith is absent. But when you have walked through things, today nothing shakes me. By the way, today I believe I can move the world.
Yes.
Because of I've seen it. And then also the power of manifesting, saying things that you want to see.
Welcome back to another episode of Financially Incorrect. We're here to talk about money journeys, and as usual, we have a fantastic money story up for you guys today. It's an industry we haven't gotten into before. This is the ESG space, and with me today, I have Loise, who is the Protos Capital Managing Partner. Welcome to Financially Incorrect, and this is her first podcast episode, a podcast experience.
Absolutely, thank you.
Welcome to Financially Incorrect. Yeah.
Thank you.
What do you think about our light? We got a new light. We had one that was on there before that people used to say red Con Air.
Yeah.
Thanks to Chico. But we have a new one now that says Financially Incorrect. And I asked them why we don't have a Kenyan, because we have a dollar sign, we have the pound, and apparently we don't have a Kenyan symbol for our currency, so that's why we weren't able to work it into the sign. But yeah, what do you think?
I think I like this money symbol more.
Yeah.
Because it brings out that money element, which is the conversation that goes on here.
Yeah.
And I asked why incorrect, and I figured everybody has their version of whatever they deem as correct.
Yeah.
And so indeed, it is correct to every person, and it's also incorrect to that very person. So just sharing that and for the work you do, I think it resonates. It resonates very well with the
I think so too. I guess we'll see what the audience says, but but it's cool. So really interested to get into your your money journey. But before that, I have a question to ask you around the ESG space. First of all, around I feel like the branding around the word or the term, what is it called? The abbreviation. Acronym. Yes, ESG is, I don't want to say misleading, but almost false. Not false. Mm-hmm. I feel like it doesn't do justice because, when you think ESG, I think because of the way people have been talking about climate and climate change, people just think that's what ESG is about. But the S stands for social and the G stands for governance, which are two separate things that I guess the environment is just one pillar of it. So as someone in this space, why do you think that is?
In my opinion, the acronym ESG is not misleading. Only that when you think sustainability and the people, in uni, if you're into law or whichever other course, the only people who did sustainability were environmentalists. So ideally, the whole agenda of sustainability has been associated with environmentalists. But when you really think about the ESG, basically these are the metrics for which you can measure whether your company or business is having a positive or negative impact on one pillar, which is the E, the environment. Then the social, which speaks to the social responsibility. And the governance, how is it run? How is the accountability? How is the transparency? So this acronym was coined in a meeting somewhere in the UN in 2014, so it's not new at all. Only that now I think it's been amplified. Now there's no more spotlight on the conversation of ESG. So in my opinion, it's not confusing at all. Once you understand what the metrics stand for. The other people who say, why is the other E, the economic? Why would it not be ESG? And while the ESG measures the metrics around the environmental, social, and governance, when you think of sustainability holistically, it's completely impossible to be sustainable without money.
Of course.
You need money to be sustainable. And that's what, in my opinion, brings together the whole agenda of the economic the environmental, the social, and governance to make it sustainability. So in the simplest form, sustainability encompasses profit, people, planet, and governance.
So do you advocate for it being EESG?
I would say it can stay the way it is as a metrics for environmental, social, and governance because they are metrics and indicators of performance. But you bring in the other E, the economic pillar, when you're now saying sustainability. So companies today do not call their reports, for example, ESG report. They'll call it a sustainability report, which encompasses the economic, the environment, the social, and the governance.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
How much do you think this ESG acronym, the environment, social, okay, maybe not governance, but environment and social, how much do you think those really impact individuals, and consumers, even at a basic level? And this is what I'm asking, and even for people who are listening, right? So there's this TikToker, her page is called Venita Lamana, right? And so she's done a bunch of videos where I guess you'd say she's almost, I don't want to say exposing, but she's talking about different companies and some of the things they do. So, for example, I think if you go onto her TikTok page, on her pinned posts, she has one on Coca-Cola. And, within the first 5 seconds, she talks about how Coca-Cola have been named as the number one number one plastic polluter in the world. And, anyway, so she's done a number of different companies, essentially dissecting how the companies either are use slave labor or what would be termed as slave labor based off of the wages that they're paying people to be able to achieve their profits and how big they are. And so I'm wondering, in your experience, like for me who's drinking a Coke, does it really make a difference? I mean, am I now not going to go and buy Coca-Cola because I've seen this TikTok video saying, they're the largest polluters of plastic in the world? Yeah.
Quite interesting. And it's not new. I think in this space, I've interacted with a lot of greenwashing, what we call it, people misrepresenting themselves as doing the right thing. Well, indeed, it's either marketing or whatever it is. But let me start from the beginning and say the whole agenda of sustainability is a personal agenda. And it's very, very, very close to purpose. It's close to purpose because it's the why an organization exists. You exist to solve a certain problem. I would imagine maybe you exist to provide financial information to people. So that's what you do. How do you do it? The how you do it is where the ESG matters come in. And that starts with who are you as a person? What are your ethics? What do you stand for? What impact do you want to have while you do the job that you do? And all the way to, if you're in manufacturing, how do you produce whatever you produce? That Coke, for example, how is it produced? Eventually, how does it get to market? And eventually, once it gets to market, what are you doing to the environment while at it? And what are you using from people? So if you can, the how, if it's done in a manner that is not harmful, one, to the environment, either through the material you use, where you source it, or to people where you're not, you're not basically misusing labor or even taking child labor or paying people unfair wages. So really you're taking care of the people who help you produce whatever you produce. Once it gets to market, for example, you talked about plastics. How can that have a comeback for recycling, for example? Is there a collection center? We have not seen any, even you and I have not seen any collection center for plastics, but we know there are organizations even within Kenya that are really doing a lot of recycling for plastics and innovating around plastics to see what reuse can happen. So for me, the whole agenda for sustainability must begin with the corporate purpose. And this speaks to leadership. So really when the leadership is so correct and driven from a point of, I am living today as Loise, managing Protos Capital, and we are here to empower businesses for sustainable growth. The culture of doing business, from the how, we will not break rules, We will not, fail to pay our taxes. Will not unfairly pay our people because we want them to be productive. We will not do damage to the community. As a matter of fact, we will give back to the community. So when you see it from a point of the why you exist as a person, the why the business exists, then it will make a personal sense to you and then to the business. And even when you think about ESG from a personal level, and ESG speaks also to, if you think resource use, so when you brushed your teeth this morning, the tap was running most likely. So there's water waste. If you think of how maybe we shower, we ladies, for example, and we let the bathtub full of water, and then tomorrow we'll complain that the city council, there's no enough water. If you think about the lighting, and even how we build, just to think about how you build, buildings. Yeah. And if you can build in a way that you have natural lighting, other than those places, we know those places where you have to put lighting when you're cooking and it's midday.
Yes.
Really, it speaks to individual ways of doing things, that we can switch off lights when we don't need them during the day.
My curiosity is, does it really matter to the consumer at the end of the day? Have you found that it matters? Have you found that it matters to the consumers?
It does matter to the consumer. And there's a particular consumer I have seen in my research and also in conversations that I've had. And that consumer is a woman. That consumer is a Gen Z, the young people. And I'll tell you why. As a woman, you're the leader of your household from a point of nourishment. You're the person who goes to the market to buy the vegetables for your family. I would buy organic and not buy something processed, for example. So those are conscious choices a woman is making. If you're going to buy diapers for your children, the consumer is reading labels and seeing all natural, 100%, and another one, synthetic, whatever it is. I'll choose the natural. Now, come to the young people. The young people, not only are they choosing to pay a premium for a certain item so long as it meets the ingredients. If you see them today, consumers today are very conscious. People have, after COVID, people are taking health very seriously. Yeah. So you'll find someone will pay more for eggs which are grown a certain way other than eggs which are, even products. For example, if you're buying, just to think of what it is, or even juice, for example. You remember when you used to grow up and we used to have those concentrated juices?
Yes, the squash.
The squash.
Yes.
Today, I don't think people actually purchase that as much as we purchased during our parents' days.
Yes.
And it's just consciousness of sustaining yourself, sustaining your health. So it matters to a consumer. And it's mattering more. That's why even companies are shaping up. You've seen today there is packaging that is changing. When you're told this packaging, now we have moved away from plastic, thank God to that policy that happened. And so now you'll go to a restaurant and they package for you in a recyclable product, maybe made of carton or whatever it is made of, or whichever material. So it matters for the consumer, and that is one of the reasons why companies are doing what they have to do, because of consumer demand and investor demand, as well regulation.
Okay, so I can see there's investor demand, and I'm seeing the two personas that you've identified as the consumers that it matters for. Yeah. But if I'm creating a product that does not relate to these two consumers, I don't have any investor pressure. Why should I pay attention to an ESG policy if it doesn't affect my bottom line? Yeah,
it will affect your bottom line because, like I said, you cannot be sustainable without money. Number one, you may be selling to a demographic that is not conscious to that. But I believe at one point in time, maybe you'll need an investor to come into your business. How do you raise capital? Well, today, one of the criteria, if you're working or raising external funds especially, is what are you doing for community? What are you doing to the environment? Can you give us your policy on people? Can you give us your policy on your commitment to sustainability? So really, consciously, out of, I would say, pressure from whichever corner you look at it, not everybody is manufacturing. I mean, professional services. But the people who I'm giving professional services to, one of the things they'll ask me, so sustainability, yes, can you give us your occupational health and safety policy? So you're telling us about this, but what are you doing yourself?
Okay.
So, and that is sustainability. It's an item under the S.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter whether service or a product. People are conscious now. The agenda is amplified, so we must do what we must do.
All right. Okay, let's get into your money journey, right?
Okay.
So looking back, right, retrospectively, if you're looking back at how you grew up, you're looking at your folks and the life you sort of came up with, do you think with an adult lens you'd say that your parents were wealthy?
No, I wouldn't say we were wealthy. We made do with what we had. We never lacked. You know, my dad is a clinician to date. My mom has been an agricultural section officer until she retired some 5 years back. And so we went to school. Yes, and we had basic needs. We had bread, and we had the squash.
Right.
So really, yeah, we weren't that wealthy, but we weren't wealthy actually. But we were okay.
Yeah.
We had a pickup, Datsun. Well, it never took us to school.
What kind of schools did you go to?
My sister, I'm a second born, so my big sister and I started off in a public school. My other two sisters went to private school, and then we joined them into the private school. And then things went south, and we went all of us to the public school once again.
When you say things went, what happened in this things went south? If you know,
it's coming at a time when Kibaki is president. And health becomes free. Do you remember? And now we have dispensaries every corner. And remember I said my dad is
a clinician.
Yeah. He's a clinician. He was working previously for the government. He left into private practice. And so with this free health, how many people are coming to your clinic where you're charging? So income starts going down. But luckily my mom was still working. And yeah, so we had to go to the public school. And I remember my dad sitting us down that day, slowly and telling us, things are like this. By then, my parents ran a very democratic family where you're told everything about money.
Yes.
So he said, things are like this. And that's why I learned these dispensaries, everything is free. All of a sudden, income has dwindled.
So the way you're telling me now,
yes,
you were told that
we were told
then?
Yes, we were told. And we were young. I was in class 7, because my sister had already gone to high school. And then my siblings were young. They were in class 5 and I think class 3. And so we were being told, now we are taking a decision that we are going to shift from this private school into a public school because, we can't sustain the fee here. And I was like, fine, so long as I get to carry my own food.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I won't eat school food. So
Right.
that's how we moved to the public school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did that in any way, the fact that you're talking about clinician, did it in any way determine or reduce your career choices where you are like, I am definitely not going to be in this line or in this industry because there's no money here or there's less money here?
Actually, no. Not at all. I never thought about it that way. To my mind, I was clear I want to be a farmer from the beginning.
Okay.
I was clear. Until we are now in secondary school when you're making your choices.
Right.
And I told my dad I would want to be a farmer. I saw what my mom was doing. I loved it and how she'd work with the community and the women and help them. And, everybody had a kitchen garden and they're growing their own food. I really wanted to do that. My dad told me, think again. We cannot have farmers here. So it didn't change my career choices. But then I started thinking, oh, gosh, I can't be a farmer. Okay, fine. So we were then narrowed down. You remember those times when in the 1990s, you're narrowed down to career choices of either doctor, law,
engineer.
And I'm a sharp mind. I'm an A person. So really, my choices were either I chose dental medicine, and I also chose law. And then my dad told me, you don't know what medicine is about. Medicine requires you to work so hard, and then you'll be on call every other minute. Do you really want to do that? Can you imagine you doing that? And I was like, okay, I know I like my sleep, so let me choose law. So that's how I moved to law. Not because I knew anything about lawyers or I came from a family of lawyers. No, actually, there was no lawyer at that time in my family at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard you say you're an A student.
Yeah.
I wasn't an A student. I was more B. I was more of a B.
Yeah.
B, if I really, but I also didn't, like, I wouldn't say, when I look back now, I wouldn't say I worked like, super hard in school. And I would always look at A students and wonder if you, did you have to, were you naturally an A student or did you have to like work hard? Did you have like the notes and the what are they called? Those cards that people used to write the revision things on. Like, was that you?
That was me.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I'm not a genius.
Yeah.
I read even to date. For whatever I have to put my effort and my foot down and my mind into it and grind, literally. I'm not a genius. I remember I would wake up at 4 a.m., soak my legs in cold water in a basin. I come from that era. Yeah. And then I would revise for my KCP.
Yes.
And I was the top in the district. And then high school, the same thing. I read. To be honest, I was in the library. I read. So it did not come naturally.
Yes.
No, it didn't.
That's an interesting question around that. Do you think when you what was the thing that you were told that made you study that or have that routine and work that hard? Was there a direct correlation between that and having a successful life that you were told, for you to be successful, you have to do X, X, and X?
I think that was it. My mom kept saying, nothing good comes easy. If you really want a good life, you need to work. Today, I still tell my children, nothing good comes easy. To be honest, I keep telling them, if you really want to succeed, put work into it. But then, I think I related money a lot with a sense of security. And my mom would constantly say, if you work hard, you learn to the best university. And with the best university, you get a good job. Maybe that's what they knew. I know different now. But that's the motivation I had. So I grinded. I worked hard with the mindset of, if I succeed, my grades will open some doors for me. I'll go to a good university. And then I work hard there, I'll get a good job. Like that. Yeah.
Do you now think there's a correlation between money and having your legs in water at 4 a.m. and studying and the amount of money you've made?
Yeah. I'll still say money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah.
So it really, there's work that is needed. But looking at it now from where I am, in retrospect, I see if you actually get into a field that you're really passionate about and you enjoy, I think you tend to work less. I would say you don't feel the hard work as much as if you're really into a field that you didn't like. To be honest, I think I've made more money, not in employment, but in the field I am in right now. And I feel like I make it with ease than I did when it's a job. Yeah. So the water, for that time, it helps because then the grit is necessary if you're an entrepreneur. You need to have that resilience. So the water helps. The soaking into the water helps.
It's one way or another.
Yeah, the resilience was built.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was in your family setting and sort of growing up, what was your best money moment as a family and what was your worst money moment, do you think?
See, us growing up, like I said, I don't think we lacked anything, but I think our best money moment is our parents taking us to the holidays, not holidays like holiday the way you think vacation, no. It's holidays to my grandma's when school closes. And we'll stop in Nakuru and go to Nakuru mattresses, which then transformed to Nakumat. And would enter and shop whatever. My dad would say, pick, and would pick. And pick. That was such a good moment. Low moments, I don't think I experienced low moments because my parents never showed us that. I think the low moments have come later in life, especially into retirement now. and where I've seen my parents holding into assets that they cannot easily liquidate. And then I realized, actually, that made me change my mindset on investments. That I don't want investments that I cannot easily transition into money. I don't want to hold empty pieces of land. I don't. In fact, I don't buy. If I'm not buying to develop it, I'm not buying. So I think the low moments have come later when our parents get sick and they hold assets, but assets that cannot help them. So those are the low moments I have seen lately. Luckily, we've been able to navigate that, and I'm still persuading my dad, please sell every empty piece of land that you have, because then it's not helping you. I would rather you have that money in a money market or even in a bank in a fixed deposit. It's fine, but this is not helping. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's move on. So that's really interesting. First of all, I think on the land or assets that you cannot easily liquidate, and interesting philosophy there. Anyway, so you move. So you get into law school.
Yeah.
Throughout law school, you're studying University of Nairobi. Do you go to Kenya School of Law immediately, or do you take a break?
Before going to Kenya School of Law, I get pupillage. So we couldn't raise the 96K.
Yeah.
That was a figure for Kenya School of Law at the time.
I think now it must be more than double.
It
When
is.
I went, it was 180.
180. That's right. It must be.
And that was
maybe
in
200.
2014.
I wonder what they're paying right now. And I couldn't raise that 96K. But I've gotten this work. It's paying me 13,000. And when I do the math, where I'm living, I think I was paying 4,000. That single room, I was paying 4,000. And I can't raise the 96. So we approach one of the partners and we tell him, this is the situation. Is the firm able to give us either a grant or a loan? So they opted to give us a loan. I was the happiest person ever. I took the loan and off we went to Kenya School of Law. And luckily, these guys allowed us to work. They allowed us to work in the morning.
Yes.
And attend classes in the afternoon. Then another crop would go for the alternate. They go for the morning class and then come and work in the afternoon. And we were 4 of us. Then I was like, yeah, this is it. And it was working perfect. So that's how I got to Kenya School of Law. Otherwise, I couldn't have.
You've kept saying us, but I will. I will leave that for now. Okay, so you do that for the year and a half, which is throughout Kenya School of Law, do the exams.
Yes.
I assume with your legs in the water, 4 a.m. philosophy, you get straight passes.
Everything.
And you get through Kenya School. What were your orals like? Do you remember what you asked for your oral examinations?
My orals, can I remember? But it's something to do with the civil procedure on preliminary objections, and the question was maybe, when do you raise a PO and but most importantly, you had to wear a suit and, look the part and all that. So that was the first mark. And then I remember that part. I don't remember anything else.
You don't remember the rest.
Yeah.
Okay. So you finish working, or rather you finish Kenya School of Law. So you start working at.
We have to be admitted first.
Oh yes, of course.
No, we are continuing to work. Remember, I've been working at
throughout this whole period.
I've been working.
Yes.
And now, in the middle of it, I am pregnant.
Okay, now you have to give us clarity because
Oh God. Anyway, I was not pregnant at Kenya School of Law. I finished. We finished Kenya School of Law. How many years? It was 1 year.
Kenya School of Law is 1 year, then the pupillage is 6 months.
Yes.
So you're pregnant during your pupillage, after the pupillage process, but before you get admitted.
Before I get admitted, I'm getting admitted to the bar 8 months pregnant. And I'm being admitted to the bar the 21st December of 2010.
Okay. So how much because I know because I worked at the same law firm.
Yes.
I know that after every milestone you hit, they sort of added your salary a little bit. So I
Yes.
know that, when you started, it was an amount. Then when you got into Kenya School of Law, they added a bit. Then when you finished the exams, they added a bit. So by this time, how much were you being paid?
So I remember I told you we
The first
started
one was
off
13.
13K. It continued 13K until we have done the final exam, which
Yes.
is now sometime in 2009, November, October, or thereabouts. They raised it to 48,000.
Okay.
It remains 48,000 until 2010 when we admitted to the bar. And I think it went to about 63,000 or thereabouts.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, so by the time you're getting pregnant, you're on the 48.
Yes.
48,000.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Were there any financial considerations by the time you're getting pregnant?
No, there were none.
It was life.
It was life happening, and I found myself. Luckily, by the time I was finding myself,
Yes.
we had already gone home. So my parents know this guy. And remember I told you he's a guy from uni.
Yes. He's also a lawyer.
He's also
in
a lawyer in another
law
yes.
firm. Right.
Yes, he is. And we have done all these things we need to do. But remember I work in a Christian law firm?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a
That was a...
because you weren't officially married at the time.
According to Christians, you see,
Okay.
there's a traditional wedding.
Yes.
And what is a traditional wedding ideally? It's when the parents of the guy come to the parents of the girl and say, we are like this. So that had happened.
Okay.
But there was no white wedding. And I work in a Christian law firm.
Did you feel some type of...
Absolutely. You feel the stigmatization. You actually feel the judgment. And I remember I was summoned to the partner's office and I was told, all these things. And, Loise, what have you been doing? And remember, we are in a farm where we have been doing morning devotions every Monday. Every Monday, and we talk about how sin is bad. You've been living in sin.
Right.
And I think I burst. At that point, I burst and I told them, you're very judgmental.
You said that?
I said that. And I said, how hypocritical can it be for Christians that you see this one thing as sin, while another person can be doing the same things I've been doing, only that theirs is not visible. So I was like, yeah, this is unfair. And I said, this has nothing to do with my work. My work has been consistent. And it's personal to me because my parents have agreed for me to be with this person. And at the right time, we will have the white wedding.
Okay.
That's how I left it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And from there, it was no longer
So my 48 was
conversation.
still the same 48.
Right.
To be honest, I didn't mind. To me, it was...
Were you living together with your
Yes.
now husband at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now we are living together.
Okay.
We're not living together.
How are you managing your money at that time?
No,
What are you spending your money on?
Luckily for him, he had more than me. So when I am at 50, I mean,
48,
at 48,
yes.
I think he's at 75.
Okay.
And he didn't get a loan. So his 75 comes as that, other than the usual NHF, statutory.
Right. Oh, yours, they were deducting
Mine, there's a
from the-
deduction
for
from
the 90,
KSL.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
There's a deduction. I think I can't remember how much it was.
Right.
So he has more, and I didn't think we bothered too much about it. It was not a strain.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so anyway, so you said the salary goes up a bit more to 60 something when you now get admitted.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming you then have your first child.
Yes.
What does that then look like financially for you guys?
That is January of, wait a minute, let me backtrack.
Yes.
I have no medical insurance.
Okay.
And I'm now at the point where I need to, because my son was born January of 2011. And I need to go to hospital. I need to go to a maternity. So we check into Avenue Hospital. Mine was an emergency because apparently things were not going, and preeclampsia and high blood pressure. So we walk in there, and the bill for the CS, after now they had observed me for a night, they said the bill for the CS was 120,000. Between me and my husband, we knew we had 70,000. Liwe, liwalo. And so the day I was to be wheeled to the theater, he says, chill, guys. Wait.
Yes.
I call my mom. I say, Mom, things are like this. Which hospital should we go to? My mom says, immediately get yourself to Nazareth Hospital. I have never known where Nazareth Hospital is.
I do not know.
You don't
where
know it, right?
Nazareth
Yeah.
Hospital
That's where
is.
my firstborn sister was born. It's
Okay.
in Kiambu. Somewhere in Kiambu. Hey, we clear here and we go to Nazareth Hospital. And I'm admitted and things, happen. And I think the much we paid in that hospital was about 40-something thousand. So we still have a deficit we still have a balance of some 30,000.
Right.
Yeah, which can buy a few supplies here and there to help us navigate into this space we have found ourselves into. Yeah.
Do you think that, looking back now, do you think that you guys, or you were more taken by the thrill of, maybe starting a family and the enjoyment of all of that and the youthful exuberance of that, as opposed to the... It may not, and even now it might not necessarily be financial lack, but just instead, you weren't able to see what you didn't have.
Truthfully, we never even felt like we lack anything.
Yeah.
I think when you are at a certain level, there are things that don't occur to you. Today, looking back, I was like, what was that? What was that decision? Why did we go to that hospital? I would never. Even for my second born, I don't think now I would go to that hospital based on even the circumstances that were there. But it never occurred to us that we lack anything. No.
You were just living.
We were okay. We were very okay. And remember now we are saving to buy a fridge because I have to start storing water.
You didn't have no fridge at the time.
We have no fridge.
Yeah.
We had no, the cooker. We used to have the
Meko.
The Meko. Yes, the Meko.
Yes.
And this bending is too much now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would assume
My
so.
My back is not all that.
Yes.
And so now we need a cooker, which we never actually bought. It was gifted to us during our wedding later in the year of 2011.
Later in the year.
Yeah,
so
later
between January, when your son is being born, to that later in the year.
No, we are now saving for the wedding, remember? And we don't have a committee. People are not
So you're saving for a fridge, you're saving for a wedding,
no,
you're saving
the
for...
fridge we buy in February. Remember,
so you buy now with the 30...
Yeah, with now the 30
the
plus
30K balance.
plus
Okay.
we buy the fridge.
Okay.
So we buy the fridge and things are fine. When we start storing my milk, I'm okay. I can feed my child. My husband can go to work, come back,
And you're on maternity leave at this time.
And I'm on maternity. And I am on maternity, that is 2011. Yes, I am on maternity. So I'm fine. We are fine. And so now we say, on to the next thing. Baby has come, on to the next thing. Which is the next thing? Wedding. This wedding thing.
Yes.
So we start saving. So we'd save my salary. And
in totality?
All of it. And use his.
For the monthly...
For the, like rent, medical, all those things. So that's what we are using all that time. And we are saving for the wedding. I remember my house help at one point saying, because we could not buy meat. We would buy meat every 2 months. So most of the time we are eating cereals. And my husband comes from a land where cereal is in plenty.
Yes.
So we are eating cereal, dengu, and she says, Mama Oliver, we can't buy meat. Can I buy?
Your house help offers to buy meat for...
Yes. That's when I knew it's bad. Let's buy meat.
Wow.
So we bought the meat. But all this time, we are saving for things. Even my wedding gown, I was given by a friend. Only that when she gave me, it couldn't fit me.
Yes.
A friend who was my classmate.
Yes.
Amina Abdallah, wherever you are. God bless you. She gave me the gown, but I had to rent the gown. It was 15,000. And our wedding, to be honest, we said we'll use what we have.
So how much did you end up saving for the wedding?
We saved 440-something.
Thousand.
About 448,000. And this could cater for everything from, decor, from church, from everything to everything. So the only thing that was not in that budget was the honeymoon. There's no budget for honeymoon. Yes. So we'll do the wedding, come back home, and yeah.
And through all of this, you guys are just blissful.
We are fine.
Happy and just...
In fact, I think I'm more stressed now than I was then. Me, I don't remember anything ever bothering my head.
Yes.
Also because I think as a woman, when you're married to someone with a big vision and you can see the direction, you're somehow assured these things will turn out all right. They will be fine.
Yes. So what would he tell you to communicate this big vision?
He will say things like, like the vision, for example. Like in another 5 years, I'll have set up my farm. I will have done this, and then we'll get a home by this. And those trajectories were there. He would say in another 10 years, we'll have, this is 2011, and he was projecting in 5 years, he'll have left, set up. And with that, then we will have built a home by 2018, which actually came to pass. And then he says things like, we are going into real estate. So at this time, we're not investing. There's nothing to invest.
Yes.
Sure.
You're
There's nothing.
living.
We're just living. And our friends are there. So, yeah. But at that point, then he said, next year, we're going to buy a car. I mean, I don't know how this car will be bought, but I'm like, sawa. If there's anything, I believed him. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we'll buy a car. So that's how we survive.
Interesting question I want to ask you now. If you were not, hypothetical situation, you are not married, right? And someone's now proposing this vision to you now with what you know now, would you buy into it the same way you bought into it 10, 15 years ago?
Maybe because they're finding me where I know things, one or two things. And somewhat I am now more realistic. I don't think then I was driven by, reality. Like, it should be like this. It was more of, okay, fine. Let's see how it spans out. Today, I want things that are more predictable. So that person would have a hard time today. I don't think I would, to convince me. Because again, I would imagine I can afford those things. So now the conversation changes. Oh, are you the one doing it? Am I the one doing it? How do we do it together? So I want things that are more realistic, things that are not visionary.
Okay. So do you think the access to money then kills a part of, I don't know, believing or, blind faith almost?
I think when you have no journey, then faith is absent. But when you have walked through things, today nothing shakes me. By then today, I believe I can move the world.
Yes.
Because I've seen it. And then also the power of manifesting, saying things that you want to see. So we would say the car. And we said the specifics of the car. We said we want a premium at that time. And it came exact.
So how did the car come to be? What are the actual things that happened for the car to come?
No, the car comes because remember we've done the wedding.
You've not gone on the honeymoon?
No, we've gone.
Oh, you went. You found money
funded.
For. Okay.
That's a gift from his employer.
Oh, fantastic.
So we go for
Who's
the honeymoon.
Employer? You should go work.
You should go work there. It was Anjawala and Kana. Very good people.
Yeah.
We go for the honeymoon. And we come back. And now we come back to work, everything. It's not 2012, back to work, everything, And so his salary has gone up. By this point, remember, they're earning bonuses, as we are not.
You're not earning bonuses.
As you're not earning bonuses. They're earning bonuses. And the bonuses were generous, to be honest. I think it was about 300,000 or thereabout. And his salary has gone up significantly to 150-something or more than that. Or even over 200. I can't remember exactly. And so on his end, things are moving. On my end, things are stagnating.
Where were you guys living at the time?
We were living in Lower Kabete.
Okay.
We were living in Lower Kabete, so it was easy commute for him to Westlands and for me to James Gishuru. And so the car conversation comes in. So there's little money here. Remember, now we are shifted. We are now saving more. Our expenses are the same.
Nothing has changed in terms of that.
Nothing has changed. Nothing at all. So we got the cooker.
Right.
We got the cooker during the wedding. So we are good. We are good. Our shopping is the same.
Right. Are you buying more meat now?
No, there's meat now.
Okay.
No, there is meat. So we're not receiving complaints about there's no meat.
Right.
So there's meat, but not
but your lifestyle still hasn't really changed.
The lifestyle has not changed.
Was it intentional?
It was very intentional.
Between both of you, or
Yes.
again based off the vision? Yeah.
No, both of us, because again, I think we didn't come, I said, Our parents were also frugal in even how they spent. We only spent on necessities. And that is something I carry to date. By the way, I will not buy a dress I don't need. I will not buy anything I don't need. I just buy that which is needed. And that's it.
Okay.
So our shopping list is the same. Our expenses are the same. Nothing is changing. So we are saving more. And so we have money to start the importation process. Okay. And we find a guy to start bringing the car. And the car lands. And my guy goes to Dubai, and he's working in Dubai now. Now I'm left. Yeah?
He gets a job in Dubai.
It's a secondment.
Oh, right.
It's a secondment. And so me, I'm left here. And the car comes, and I'm the one here. And the money to clear is not enough. We needed 150K to clear that car.
Yes.
One of the partners comes through for him and says, I'll give you the 150. And so we clear the car, and the car comes home. It is now March of 2012. So, yeah, and just like that, we have a car now. We can move about, and we are doing very well in the circumstances.
Seems like it.
Very well.
So you said that you feel like your career, looking back, you feel like your
Yes.
career at that point has sort of stagnated. So what happens? And are you frustrated by that?
Very much. I'm very frustrated, and the reason I'm frustrated, number one, is I have come from maternity leave. So I find it unfair that I've brought life to this world. My life is not expanding. And this is something that women in careers go through. After childbirth, there is that gap. Your colleague who was male has continued making inroads. So before you come and catch up, there is some lag there. So you find maybe they even were promoted, but you are behind. So I was feeling I'm lagging behind. And remember also I was comparing a lot with this spouse of mine who was also my classmate. So we should be at par. We should be moving in tandem. What is going on here?
Yeah.
But then I quickly realized, I think it's whatever sacrifice I had to make because the child had to come. But then when I went back, I put my head down. I locked in. I am working. But as I work, it's not translating to either promotion or money.
And what does locking in mean? Are you working longer hours?
No,
Are you...
I can't work longer hours.
Because you have to go?
Yes, I have to go home. But whatever assignment it is, I go over and above. I deliver quick my TATs like this. I'm a fast learner, and I'm doing all these things. But it's not translating. And I think largely because I'm doing work I don't enjoy, which is banking and finance.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I lobbied to move into corporate commercial. But it's not happening as soon as I would want it to happen. And we were measured using financial targets. So at the end of the quarter, then you'd bring how much money have you brought in as a target. And in banking and commercial, then you're dealing with these debentures and charges that are worth 150, 200,000, very small monies. And there's a advocate remuneration order that says if the charge is this much, this is how much you charge. Yes. Surely you cannot compare this, what I'm doing, with a person in corporate commercial whose deal is 5 million and there is no advocate remuneration order, it's negotiation.
Yes.
So if it's 5% of the whatever, that's it.
Yeah.
The contract sum, that's it. So these colleagues of mine are moving faster, and I'm feeling,
Do you remember what your targets were?
I can't remember what our targets were. They would vary depending on whichever department you are in.
Okay.
They would vary, but ideally there was a level of output expected. And so things are not moving for me. An appraisal comes, and me, I'm put on probation. I'm told, Loise, your performance is dismal, and we need to put you into this observation phase.
Yes.
To see performance improvement program.
Yes.
I'm like, me? I cried in that boardroom.
The person who puts the feet in water at 4 a.m. could not believe.
Imagine. The way I'm giving my all. I'm a performer.
Yes.
Oh, God, there's nothing. And then remember, I'm harboring these judgmental comments from, the other face that we talked about. And so I'm feeling, does it have something to do with that? And so I have all these mixed emotions. And in the heat of the moment, I go home. I tell my husband what has been determined. I was not the only one. We were two of us. And we were all in banking and finance. My other colleague, Sadly, he passed away
Oh.
some time back. But we left. We left the farm. We resigned. I resigned.
On the day?
No,
No.
I go home.
Yes.
I discuss. And I say, I can't take this. Then I go back. And first of all, what is on my mind is I need to pay them this loan. I need to clear this loan completely. How do I do it? And I figured I will forfeit my salary. It was not too much remaining. It was about 30-something at that point. And I was like, I will forfeit it. I will leave. I will go sit at home because I don't like this work. And then I don't like the environment now all of a sudden. So I'm resigning. And I tender my resignation with no job. I say, what, ni sawa. So I go back to my corner office. I start looking for work. No, I've resigned.
Yes.
I've tendered my resignation. It's been accepted.
Yes. Were you surprised that it was accepted?
No. I expected them to accept it anyway. At this point, it's like it's not working.
Yeah.
It's not working. They can sense I'm not happy. I can also sense maybe I'm a misfit right now. I'm like, let me go try something else.
Okay.
And also I'm struggling. I'm also struggling with the workload. I'm struggling with hours, and because of the baby. So I'm struggling with all this, and I'm like, if I'm to have another child, maybe in another 2 years, I cannot have it here.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot have it here. I
In the
remember all
same
this time,
cycle.
I have no medical insurance from this farm.
Still.
That means that I'm still taking care of it. So I need more. I'm starting to realize that I need more. And also I'm starting to realize I think I need better. So I started looking for work. I applied for work. I got a job. I applied at NSC. I applied at Oil Libya. And both of them were the interviews on the same day. So I go to Oil Libya first. First of all, they keep me waiting. So I'm not very happy with this, but I need the job. Remember, I am serving notice.
Yes.
So a miracle has to happen between now and by the time I leave.
Yes.
And I go to Oil Libya. Nah.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like it. I think they didn't like me. I don't know who didn't like who. Or maybe I didn't fit whatever they were looking for.
Right.
I go to NSC. That was a fantastic interview. I go to the stock exchange. First of all, I'm received very well. I walk into a boardroom. This is the first day. I'm seeing a whole lineup from the chief executive officer, director, HR. And I'm there. But I think because of the confidence of having done the first interview, now I'm more confident. Plus, I know it's either I make it or I make it. There are no two ways about this. It's either I got the other one or this.
Yes.
I walk in. I had done work for NSC before. You know, the broker back office system?
Right.
I had done all the contracts, the Chelasoft contracts. So I had an idea of what these people do. And then I go in there and they're asking me about trading and all those things. And I've been doing these contracts. So I've been reading. So I feel confident like they're asking me things that I know. It's an officer legal and compliance position. They're asking me regulatory things. And I know. So I get confident. I can see them nodding. When you see an interviewer nodding, you're like, maybe I'm saying the right thing. I left that day feeling so good. And I went home knowing I got this job. Didn't I got both of them?
Even the Oil Libya one?
Yes.
Right.
Only that NSC came first.
Okay.
They came first and then they asked me, how much money do you want? And remember where I'm coming from?
Yes.
It's very, yeah. So I say 100,000 gross. I undershot myself.
It did come.
I go home. HR, 1 week later, calls me and says, Loise, you sailed through, come for your contract. I go, and she has given me 115,000. It's like, I didn't ask for this, but they actually found it. So NSC had the bands, so you had to fit in a band.
Yes.
So they cannot pay you less because you negotiated for less.
Right.
They will still pay you within the band.
Right.
Only that now I sat lower at the band. If I had said like 150 still, they could have given me.
Yes, it would have been within the...
Anyway, I'm happy. I signed that. Then Oil Libya comes and I say, hey, I already signed.
Yes.
I already signed.
What was Oil Libya's offer?
I think it was less. It was 98.
It was less. Okay.
I think 98,000. So I was like, I'm okay.
And what was this position that you are?
This is officer, legal and compliance.
Okay.
And me, remember my notice period is coming to an end?
Yes.
I think it's now almost April of 2012. And me, I leave. I stay home for 2 days, I jump into the new job.
Straight.
Straight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, what do you start doing with, I guess, the extra money that you're now making? What are the things that do you do anything differently, or are you still living on a very, I guess, I don't want to call it tight budget,
Yeah.
but a very needful budget,
Yeah.
and invest in saving the rest?
We are not investing yet. I wouldn't say we are buying shares or anything, or we are not. We are still in the budget.
And just
But
saving.
now I have siblings. I have siblings who are in uni,
Right.
and at this point in time, my mom is retiring, and there are needs here and there. So I'm not only taking care of my siblings, partly my parents, and then my mother-in-law and now my father-in-law, and my mother-in-law is sickly. She has cancer.
Sorry
So
about that. Yeah.
no, she passed away.
Oh.
So we are taking care of these things. It's like now money is going into other things, but not us. So really, we are not even saving. At this point in time, I don't think we have even any savings. Other than maybe if a salary doesn't show up, by the way,
It's problems.
it's problems.
Did that ever happen?
No.
Oh.
Gladly. It never happened. It never
Okay.
happened. But we are still on the needful budget. We are not changing anything, but now we are taking care of other things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the next big thing that happens? Or what's the next big move that happens for you financially speaking?
The next big move that happens is...
Positive or negative, whichever.
I think now 2013, we are working, 2013, then Bernard again, my husband lives for the UK on second bent again. I'm left here, and I'm now starting to think, we need to start investing. So before he left, we made sure that we buy land. The land I told you I'm not buying anymore.
Yes.
So we took a loan.
What happened that you started thinking we need to start investing now?
Because now we have a child. This child soon will go to a school. And me, I had already determined they're going to an international school. And so I was thinking school fees and all these things. So I'm like, we need to start doing something that maybe can...
Bring more
money. But I didn't know which thing, what thing. So the only thing now that I'm working at the NSC is shares. That's what I know. But then again, we are not very clear on, these modalities of doing these things. So we say, let's do the thing we know best. And we buy land. No, we take a loan. We take a loan from KCB. Was it KCB or Gulf African Bank? I think it was KCB. 2.5. His salary can support that. So we take that loan. He goes, buys land, and then he makes these decisions of buying land that has no title. That has allotment papers. But there were two others that had title. So it's okay.
Aren't you guys lawyers?
We are lawyers. We are lawyers. But we are telling people what to do, but we're not doing it. Yeah. So we bought land, and that's it. So we are paying a loan for something that is not even income generating. You understand? So he leaves. His salary is still growing. He's still doing well. Me, I'm still here. 2013, the way you do your anniversary.
Yes.
You go for the anniversary. I come back with another baby.
Is it that your anniversary was 9 months long?
I have no idea
you
what's
go
wrong.
and come back?
Oh, God. Yes, and that one shocked me.
Yes.
That one shocked me. And now I'm thinking, 2 babies? How now? How do we take care of these people? And, at this point in time, nothing is changing for me. Me, I'm still working, learning the ropes, There are no even opportunities.
Your money is still there about the same?
Mine is still, no, it has grown to about maybe 150 something, or, it's not too much. Yeah. But then NSC has this thing of biannual bonuses. So there's a bonus mid-year, there's a bonus end of year. It's a huge boost. And it used to be twice your salary.
Twice your salary?
Twice. Both of them, twice. There's one time it was triple, actually. So you'd be called for your check. Go pick your check. We are buying land.
You're buying more land?
We are buying more land.
Oh.
We are buying more land. That's what we are doing. Okay. There's nothing else we are doing. We are buying more land. Right. But then it's dawning on us, now, this smaller one needs to go to school. This is 2014. Needs to go to school so that now I can take care of this other one. And NSC has medical insurance, fantastic medical insurance. So I'm not worried about these things. And now that my husband is gone, I need to learn how to drive. I didn't know how to drive before. So I need to learn how to drive.
So, wait. So, even those years ago, when you imported the car, when the car came home, it sat there.
Me, I'm being carried. No, he can drive.
No, because
I
he said he
cannot.
wasn't there. He was in Dubai.
Yes, it's there.
So, literally, until he came back, the car was there.
Yes. I don't know how to drive.
Okay.
I don't know how to drive. But then when he was buying this land, he met a guy who told him, the person who was selling him the land, if there's anything you'll ever have to do, empower your wife. If you empower your wife, you empower yourself. He came back. He told me, there's a guy who has told me, you need to learn how to drive today. And on top of that, you need to move to the next level in your career. So he's telling me that. Even if there is no senior officer position open, look for it. Do something. And I'm like,
but he's not putting pressure on you.
No, he's not putting pressure on me. But he told me, he was very deliberate in like, no, you have potential. Let's do this thing. So I started with basics, driving. So
before the senior position.
Before the senior position. So I drive. I learn how to drive. By the time I'll finish maternity, I know how to drive. So even if when he's away, I am taking the children to school. I'm doing all these things and running errands. Yeah. Then life remained the same until 2015. And he tells me that he needs to change jobs. I'm like, what? You change jobs to what?
Do you guys have loans at this point?
That loan, the 2.5 million, is still there. Yeah, it's still there. It's still there.
So even with the bonuses that you are getting,
yes,
you are buying more land. You are not servicing.
We are not. No, the loan is being serviced by the salary, the usual repayments.
Right. So this one was other.
This is extra income. Extra income goes into an investment, which at the time we thought was
a good thing to do. Yeah.
Yes.
Which was buying more land.
Buying more land.
Okay.
Where are we buying that land? In what is that called? Muihoko, Murera. Places I've never been to. In Murera. At that point, we bought land in Lower Kabete. That land was very expensive. Lower Kabete, you know.
Yes.
That land at that point was selling for 8.9 million. Hey, do we have this money? But we said, let's take another loan. So we took another loan.
On whose?
No, it's mine.
Now on your salary.
Yes, it's my salary. We took another loan and we purchased the land. We don't know really what we'll ever do with this land, but we know we'll put up apartments on this land. It's a whole nice, quarter, nicely located. But before we do this, it will take us a while. It will take us a while. So we serviced the loan. The loan. Eventually in 2015, where he's now changed jobs. He changes jobs and goes to become a partner. What happened is when bad things happen to you, but then you think of, what to do with it. So he was overlooked in a promotion to senior associate. He said, stay with your senior associate. So he jumps ship, becomes a partner.
At another law firm.
Did
he have to buy in?
No, not equity.
Okay.
It's
salaried.
Okay. Salaried. Well, there is when he meets people who have this mindset of, if you want to be wealthy, use other people's money. Debt is not all bad debt. If you're taking a loan to do investments or to improve yourself, take other people's money. The wealthiest people have overdrafts and have all these things, but they're using it for something. Then he says, we are going to charge this property, this Lower Kabete property. We're going to charge it. And the money we get out of it, we are going to start constructing on that property. And I'm like, what are we constructing? He says, we are going to put out some rentals, even if they're simple rentals. I'm like, no, I want to see the drawings. Now, at this place, I already know what can be, what cannot. And because I want security, by the way, my archetype for money is I'm a money admirer. I admire money and I take money as something that gives me freedom and security and ability to do things for myself. On the other hand, my husband is, what can you say? It's a free spirit. The universe will take care of itself.
That's his.
Yeah, that's his.
Okay.
But it mellows well because he brings, while I want to see predictability, he says, take risks, things will unfold.
So together
the details will align, And so we say, fine, charge. He shows me the
To
drawing.
give a technical
Yeah.
explanation for non-lawyer,
Yeah.
non-legal minds, that just explain the charge.
The
Charging a
charge.
property, yes.
Yeah.
What it means to charge a property.
Yeah, it's where you take your land and use it as collateral to obtain a loan from a bank or a financial institution. Can be a SACCO as well. So then you deposit your title with the bank and they release the monies to you. Upon repayment, then you'll get back your title and the land is discharged back to you.
Then now give the context of, because you're still paying the loan for
Yes.
this land.
Yes.
So I guess technically was the title in your name at that point, or was it?
Yes, it's
Yes.
in our joint names.
In
It's
your
in our
joint names.
joint names.
Yes.
We bought it jointly. The title reads both, but now there's a borrower. You see, this is the owner and then the borrower. So the borrower is Loise.
Yes.
Yes.
And so the loan was purely against your salary.
Yes.
It had nothing to do. There was nothing on the land. There was no encumbrance on the land.
No, there is an encumbrance.
Yeah.
It's a charge. It's charged there, and it's charged to the value of the land.
Yes.
But my salary is a guarantee.
Yes.
And also because we are joint, they go to the spouse, also to give an individual personal guarantee.
Yes.
So we are in this together. If we think, we think.
Right. Okay. Great. No, I think it gives context now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he shows me the drawings, and I'm like, nah. If we are constructing, we are not constructing small time things. We are gonna construct something good. And this is 2017. This is 2017 now. And we are thinking, how do we start this construction? Fine, we have charged. If we build, we will only go to this level. We will not do nothing much. And we put in our approvals, which were Kiambu County. We put in our approvals. They were never approved for a year.
So for a year.
For a year, that is the entire of 2017. No approval is coming through because kickbacks are needed. And we have no money for kickbacks.
But you're servicing.
Yeah.
You're servicing the loan.
Yes. You're
Okay.
servicing the loan. So many things happening. But then we say, because the bank had given us some money, let's do something else. So we build our home. For me, I'm for it because I'm like, it gives me security. I have babies.
Yes.
And in case of anything, if this job of yours decides to go south,
Yes.
I have a shelter. I have a shelter.
Yes.
So we built a home.
With the
And
money
then-
that
Part
of the money.
Part of the money. And then eventually we got another person who can push the drawings, and now the drawings come in 2018, which actually we redo now. We redo now, and in 2018, I am now head of legal. I'm now head of regulatory affairs. How I got to head of regulatory affairs, if you allow me?
Yes, of course.
Because I was officer. Remember?
Yes.
I was officer. I didn't become senior. No.
As you were told to become senior.
I never became senior. I went for manager. So I shoot my shot. And it's during a time when reorganization is happening. And I told that panel, because everybody was applying for the position they are in and the position they want to go to. So me, I only applied for the position I want to go to. So I go to the panel and they ask me, but Loise, we said you apply for the position you are in and where you want to go to. I told them I have no position I am in because where I am, I have outlived it. I have outdone it. So this is the only position I have seen that suits me. And because of 1, 2, 3, 4, what if you don't get it? You'll fall off the structure. I say, no, I have no choice. I have to get it. I have to get it.
This is a conversation you're
This
having.
is a conversation I'm having with the panel, my CEO, my boss, all those people in the panel, the entire exco. So I told them, I have to be manager. And as it were, I became manager. I became manager. The people who were senior officers, I passed them. I say, I'm coming from office, I'm going to become manager. So I become manager. But I realized quickly, these people are sharp. They're sharp. And I'm becoming their boss. Loise, you have to do something. And remember, I have a legal mind.
Yes.
These people are finance people, statistics. So they know their craft proper. Me, I don't know much finance. Hey, who will tell you not apply for a master's in public finance? I apply for a master's. I start my master's. In between, I have a very good boss, Tom Kimaro. I go to him and I tell him, I need to understand these financial statements.
These things, yeah.
These financial statements, proper. What does it mean? And give me the context. Why was the law crafted like this to mean that intermediaries or investors must have this kind of criteria? So he was very nice. He was very nice. He gives me detail. Tells me, Loise, this was because of the following. You look at working capital, this is what it means. This is when you hear share capital restructuring, this is what it means, and so on and so forth. I start becoming. In between, I'm doing CC, the Chartered Institute of Securities Investments. I'm doing CC. I'm becoming a guru in this security space now.
So you're doing your master's and the CC program.
I'm doing everything. I'm also doing CPS.
Yes. Are you doing your 4 a.m. thing?
4 a.m. is not happening as frequent, but in the night, I am putting in work.
Okay.
I'm putting a lot of work. So I needed to say that part because I'm still not officer. So in 2018, I'm now head. Because the guy who was head has left. And when he has left, Loise goes to the boss. I go to the boss and I tell Tom, I need this position, this head. I need the head of regulatory affairs. He tells me, but do you know we have to do, internally, we would need 3 candidates. So if we can't raise 3 candidates, we have to advertise externally. So none of that is happening. I'm going to write myself a recommendation letter. Then I'm going to give it to you. Then you're going to go with it to the CEO. And you're going to lobby for me. You owe me, Tom. You remember I have been holding this thing. I've been holding it.
Right.
Tom says, fine, write. I write a nice, beautiful recommendation letter. Skill sets, what I can do. Luckily, I'm the only lawyer in this docket. That is what is saving me.
Right.
But my boss is not a lawyer. He's finance. He goes to the CEO. This time it's Jeff Odundo. And
who was here?
Who was
seat.
Here.
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Exactly. And he says, this position is vacant. We have this lady who can do 1, 2, 3, 4. And Jeff had seen me in action. Let me tell you, I think when I sit down today, I realize it's hard to join your dots forward. You can only see them when you look backward. Looking back, I figured when Jeff came in 2015, 2016, I am doing a contract that is on a system. And I'm aggressive. I'm defending my client. My client is NSC. So I'm doing everything to put clauses that are favorable for us. And I push. That day I go to his office, I tell him, you cannot sign this contract. Because this clause reads like this, like this, like this. Unless these people change it like this, and I was very forceful, then we are not signing. And remember, I'm not the boss. I have a boss.
Yes.
I have a boss. He goes home. Then the following day he says, call so-and-so, now my boss. Loise, come here. Tell me exactly why this clause should not be like this, like this. I tell him, no, I need it rechanged. And we had a meeting with those South Africans. I told them, this cannot work for these institutions for the following reasons. I need it rewarded to read as follows. I read for them what should be written. They change it. And I tell them, now sign. He signs, the contract sails through, and everything is going fine. So he had seen me in action. So my boss is bringing a recommendation and says, yes. In fact, in the next committee, we'll just confirm and we say we have a right candidate. But I have this mindset of mine that has not told me I'm enough. So I'm still sitting on the card desk. I am still sitting as manager. And the PA to the CEO, when the process went through, comes with a letter to my desk. Says, congratulations, Loise. You're not the head of regulatory affairs. I'm like, oh, nice, that's nice. No. Deep down, I'm feeling, was I actually ready for this thing? And then looking at my team, I'm like, now the responsibility is too much. Luckily, I've equipped myself. I have some things to back me. And I've also graduated with my master's, so I feel more confident. But I continue sitting on that seat. She told me, don't be stupid. That's the PA telling me. She told me, don't be stupid. Can you move to that desk there? I moved. She pushed my, what are these things? Where you put your things, the cabinet.
The cabinets, yes.
She pushes my cabinet and exchanges with the empty one, brings the empty one where I used to sit.
Yes.
And I sit there and I can feel, wow, this is it now. And these are the people looking up to me. Loise, up your game. I can guarantee you the turning point in my career was in 2018 when I became the head of legal. I changed how I thought of myself. I changed how I dressed. I'm getting to this position. I changed how I talked. I changed and realized that the work behind my computer has brought me this far. If I am to go thus far, I must get from behind my computer. I must be there meeting people, networking, and this is something I had never done, just like this podcast, I had never done before. I'm feeling all afraid, but I said, I will do it afraid. And that's where I started realizing, maybe there's something more I can do for personal branding. I started reading books. Now I'm reading Lean In by Cheryl. I'm reading Nice Girls Still Don't Get the Corner Office. And I'm realizing, all these mistakes, I've done all of them. Basically. Avoiding office politics. I'm here being the nice girl who is, picking the load when others drop it.
Yes.
And people are taking credit of my work. Then I need to own my work. And I realized I'm going to be very different. From that moment on, Loise began writing articles in the newspapers. Loise refurbished her LinkedIn. And I said, I'm going to shout about my successes. Because the only way internally I have credibility, but nobody out there knows what I'm able to do. And me, I want to be chief. Now I'm eyeing.
Yes.
I want to be chief. And so I must really differentiate. And I start writing things. And all my articles I'm writing, it's on ESG. At that point in time,
yes,
there's no ESG.
It's not identified as ESG, but it's basically ESG.
That's what I was writing about. In fact, I was used to call it environmental, social, and governance. Why companies must change the shift of thinking to doing not only business, but good business. I start writing. And people would tell me, but these are feel-good things. These are things on the periphery of an organization. Who really cares about sustainability? All we care about here is financial. Even investors look at financial statements, not about stories you told about how you helped a community out there.
Right.
That was before COVID, right? It's 2018.
Yes.
But then we have a green bond. The green bond, I'm the one who has done the listing rules. I have done the issuer guide. So I'm starting to understand snippets of these green things. But still, it's not clear. Where are we playing? As capital markets, where are we playing here?
Right.
And, when now I started watching documentaries about what has been done elsewhere on matters of climate change, issues of social responsibility, what organizations can do, it's coming clear to me. But it looks like it's a personal thing to me,
right.
but it's not people don't resonate with this thing.
Right.
But I continue writing. I had a target of every month I must put out an article on the Business Daily. The first time they put it on the Standard, I told them I don't want Standard newspapers. Yes. I want Business Daily. I'm on a mission. And the mission I am on is to build a personal brand.
Yes.
Is to build my personal credibility. And it's also to demonstrate to the world that I'm here. I may not be that, but I'm here.
Yes.
And slowly, COVID happens. 2020. 2020.
Yes, COVID is March 2020.
March 2020, that's when we go home.
Yes. March 14th, March 15th, that's when we have our first case in Kenya.
Exactly, that's when we have, and we are sent home.
Yes.
And I'm here. I didn't last too long as head
of regulated.
I become chief soon after. I think I become chief in 1 year. Yeah, it happens in 1 year. And I become chief as a result of a reorganization. Again. Do
you do the same thing? Where you only apply for the...
And this time, they promote me.
Okay.
This time, I think they have started seeing something.
Right,
so this time they tell me, you're stepping up. And a reorganization happens, my boss is let go. And I take up. I'm told, Loise, this is the position you're taking. And I'm like, what? Now I'm in an enclosure. I was used to an open space. Yes. Now I'm in an enclosure. I'm like, fine. Let's see how this plays out. But dynamics are very different when you have someone and you're under someone and now you're the one there.
Cool people, yeah.
Your thinking must be very strategic. Now you're thinking for the entire team. You're actually thinking ahead of them. Because then every quarter, you're thinking of initiatives, strategy, all those things, and you stop being the doer of the work. For the most of the time, I was the doer. Now, all of a sudden, I'm realizing I have to review their work, give guidance. And these are my peers. They're my buddies. They're, colleagues.
Yes.
But I have to act it. I have to be that person. And I have to inspire confidence that I can. Hey, I go to Strathmore. I go to Jeff, I tell him I want to go to Strathmore and do a management course on leadership.
Yes.
It's paid. I go take it. And there I get snippets of, what should you do? For me, I believe in constant upskilling, constant learning, no matter where you find yourself in, so long as there's nothing new under the sun. It's been done before.
Yes.
So there are rules out there. So I'm now chief. And while I'm chief, it's 2020. And COVID, we have gone home. As now chief regulatory affairs, the task is on me. How do we ensure that all listed companies continue as going concerns despite the health crisis and despite the operational hiccups that we are now facing? In my small mind, I sit and think to myself at home, we are going to do a survey. We are going to ask these people, what are their main challenges? Where do they think can be done better? And how do they foresee, project themselves coming back? Coming back to operations should COVID subside, maybe by end of 2020. The reason I'm doing all this is not that I'm a genius, I'm inventing things. No. I have gone and checked in the World Federation of Exchanges, what are other exchanges doing?
Yes.
I told you I don't believe in new things. I know things have been done before. So we will not reinvent the wheel. And I tell Capital Markets Authority, this is what we are going to do. We are going to do a joint survey, and these findings will enable us to do 1, 2, 3, 4. The survey comes out, more than 70% are saying we are struggling. Our employees, we did not anticipate COVID, so there were no mechanisms of proactive, measures in case of an eventuality of a pandemic, but even worse, where employees have to work from home, even technologically. Companies are not ready. You cannot manufacture bread from home.
Yes.
There are people who need to be in the factory.
Yes.
But what measures were there to ensure that they can commute? And while I'm doing all that, I am now seeing this conversation of ESG now again coming out more prominently from a point of risk management. And they are saying that businesses that deliberately anticipate, maybe you cannot anticipate a pandemic, but you can anticipate, eventualities that can, if you deal with them now, even if they crystallized, they will not have a major effect on your business as if you didn't prepare.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to realize people are actually thinking about issues of like health issues. What can you do now? Does it mean that we need maybe to take measures on even our employee productivity from a point of the kind of seats they sit on, the air circulation. Now that you remember with COVID, there was a lot of, we're opening windows. All of a sudden we realized nature actually, we thrive in nature. People working from home actually were more productive, if you recall. And so people are also starting to realize that it's not just about money. Actually, the whole agenda of profiting can be jeopardized by one pandemic. If your focus was just money, now you're out. So how will you continue making money when the people who are making you money are dead?
Yes.
Well, the people who bought your commodities cannot afford it because of distress. Then you realize you can actually continue making money if you're making it in an ecosystem that is more holistic and that takes care of the people, that also looks at eventualities and risks from the environment you operate in that can affect your business and proactively taking measures. And that births my conversation around ESG. As in crystallizes. I've been writing,
Yes.
but now it's dawning. It's dawning more and more. Should I go on?
Okay. I want to take you back on a few
Yes.
things.
Yes.
Because we've now gone from your journey, and from literally when you are deciding whether you're going to go for the senior position.
Yeah.
For what you can tell us financially, what are the changes then that you go through? Because we
Yeah.
know what your CEO was earning because it was public, it was public record.
Yes.
But so, what are the gradual as you're going on these promotions? What are the increments that you're getting?
For me, I've avoided this discussion of salary for a long time. But now that
For?
I'm on this podcast,
Yes.
I will say it.
Yes.
I'm EXCO. Remember, I'm executive committee member.
Yes.
But I'm a new joiner. I'm also the youngest.
How old were you when you were on Expo?
I am 2018, I think I am 33 or thereabout.
When you're head of.
When I'm head, and then when I become chief, is when I am 34, 35.
Okay.
Yes. And where were we?
The
So,
remuneration.
yes,
Yeah.
the remuneration.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, new member Exco.
So I'm a new member, EXCO. I find bands. Remember I told you about the bands? And these bands have gone through some changes. So some of them are, you're here, you're in the same band, but you're here, another person is there. So I enter this band
Yes.
at 450,000. The highest person in this band
Yes.
is at 820. Do you see?
That's a gap of 400,000.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Loise says, let me work. It's a position I've been given.
When you're getting the 450, that's when you're senior. When you're
No, this is, I'm head of. When I go to
Head
chief,
of.
my salary doesn't change.
Okay.
I just change the title, boss.
Okay.
But I'm not telling people that. Nah. No, I'm not telling them that.
Yeah.
My salary remains the same. So I just transitioned
Yes.
offices and titles.
And titles.
Everything else, as the HR letter could read, all your other whatever conditions of employment remain the same.
And do they clearly specify to you the shift, what it will take to get you to the eight whatever
No,
figure?
nobody's telling you that. Actually, your JD changes. It's a different JD I
Yeah.
have now.
But it's not clear information how you get to the top of this band.
No, you don't get to that band, especially if you are an internal entrant. An external entrant will easily get, and you guys know these things. If you hire someone from outside,
Yes.
most likely organizations will pay them that.
Yes.
But as internal promotion, and this is erroneous. I don't know why they do this. Yet this person is the one who will train the external person.
Yes.
So it doesn't move. I change titles, I change JD. But the nice girl in me says, let me do the work.
Yes.
I do the work, and my work is speaking for itself. I have confidence of the board. I have confidence of my CEO. I am not, there's no other boss. So really, I'm presenting to the committee of the board, which is now the regulatory affairs, and I carry the shoe. They like me. I like them. I have a good chairman who is also my coach. So I'm, and we are navigating Jose Akili. And we are navigating, they like me. I think we gel. And I've proven myself. I go and say, no, this is the work I've done for this long.
And this is as you're doing this rebranding of your personal self as well. Yes.
Everything is happening in tandem. It's happening quick because I'm realizing that on the other hand, from a family level, the other guy has gone. And I'm feeling a bit competitive.
He has gone.
He has gone.
Yeah.
He has gone. Remember I told you he moved?
Yes.
Became partner.
Yes.
And he's not earning what I am earning.
Yeah.
No. And so and remember we are constructing slowly, but surely. It's taking longer, but we are moving. And we have a home. And we have relocated our children's school to a closer school, so we are not commuting to Westlands. And So on my end, I'm feeling the pressure, to be honest. I'm feeling the pressure. I need to catch up.
But it's pressure you're giving yourself.
It's me. Nobody has asked me for my money. Nobody is asking me for anything, but it's me. And I realized that because I have this strong work ethic, I have high demands for myself. And with that also comes a lot of, you can outburn yourself. You can really burn out.
Get to burnout, yeah.
And then I tend to overthink.
Yeah.
Which I'm learning. Those are things I'm learning about now, how to deal with them now.
Right.
Entrepreneurship especially. But I say, now I've worked for these 6 months. Let me go back and negotiate for a raise. I go negotiate for a raise, and I'm told the company is not performing too well. So, boys, let's see. Let's revisit this thing. I say, fine. I put in the work. We are now in 2021. I think we're going to 2021 because now we're almost the end of 2020. And we've gone back. I think we went back in 2021 to the office.
Yes. Well, people, the sort of hybrid. Yeah. Or a few people come in the office. Yes.
So we go back in 2021. And 2021, let me go back to 2020. In 2020, remember my salary has not changed, but I'm still putting in the work. And I'm in this space where I'm getting very much interest in ESG now. And one of the ways we identified from the survey that I told you about was actually to build a know-how document for listed companies in Kenya to be able to navigate sustainability. For us, it was not from the stakeholder engagement, which we are doing during COVID, and I'm doing this single-handedly with my team. This is not, it's Loise and her team sitting down as the NSC and saying, we are going to develop a manual, a guidance manual on ESG that will help our companies become more operationally robust, more prepared to deal with pandemics should another like this happen. We do stakeholder engagements, sector by sector. There's no sector we didn't sit banking sector, manufacturing, agriculture. We called them. Luckily, they were even responding. You don't know, my signature is different. It's chief officer. They respond. And it's the stock exchange. The stock exchange is a good brand. We do stakeholder engagements. And what is coming out there telling us, Loise, we know the what is ESG. In Kenya, we have these things that are taking traction. We know the what. So don't tell us the what. Tell us the how to do it. How do we integrate sustainability or environmental, social, and governance issues into operations? And how do we tie that to the bottom line? Hey, we are also navigating this thing. Even me, I have no answers.
Yes.
I say, yes. From the gap analysis, the gap in the market, that they need a process flow document. In this whole process, I come across a company called Global Reporting Initiative, GRI. GRI, through my friend at the exchange, who is at the time, the head of secretariat for the African Stock Exchanges Association. So she knows people. So Furaha tells me, reach out to GRI, tell them what you want to do. They will give you the grant to do it. You will get a consultant, and you'll get to do what you want to do. I write to GRI, they respond like this. They told me, that's a fantastic idea. Loise, we want to partner with you. I say, yes, come on board. Remember at NSC, I was told, anything with a budgetary line, forget. So I'm navigating this knowing I cannot go back to NSC and tell them I need a budget line for this thing. Yet I know this is the thing that I should be doing. And I want to own it. GRI tells me, we're going to help you shortlist consultants. You choose whoever you want to work with. The process is moving like this, because even me, I'm chap. I'm working in the night. I'm telling them, hey, I want to move.
Yes.
I tell my team whatever it takes. We shortlist. In fact,
but this is your team internally at NSC?
Yes.
Okay.
My team under my docket.
Yes.
Regulatory affairs. Who are not even my friends, because I told them we must do this, and we succeed all of us.
Yes.
And if we fail all of us. So you guys, we cannot afford to fail.
Yes.
And let's move. So we get a list of consultants, big names. What I'm looking for in this thing, I'm looking for a person I can work with, like, say, flexibility. So I'm looking for a person who is flexible to my ideas, who can take it in and work with me, because I know what should be in that document. But maybe I don't have the language because of my legal background and finance to put it that way. One of the guys who applied was an ex-KPMG. That guy quit his job at the heat of COVID. And I was like, this was a madman. to set up a consultancy on environmental, social, and governance. He's still a very personal friend. He's in the UK, Bernard Kiore. He set up his firm. And I see the firm there. And I'm like, this is a guy I want to work with. But then the way that he had presented it, I could tell this is a person I can work with. So we narrowed down to him. Of course, he performed very well. And we start working. So I'm telling him, I want this. I want it written like this. This part, I want it like this. And he hears me. He's bringing the jargon from the environmental risk and climate risk. Me, I don't have that jargon.
You're bringing.
But me, I'm bringing. I wanted layman.
NSCS.
I wanted to say this. This is the gap. And I wanted to fill it this way. I want something systematic. If today you read the ESG guidance manual for the stock exchange, it's a process flow document that even if you have never interacted with sustainability, you'd know where to begin. You know what is needed. And so we finished that document. It's now June, July of 2021. And I've gotten interested in this subject so much. So much that now when my CEO would get invitations touching on ESG or sustainability, I was a go-to person. So I'm now starting to speak. I'm now starting to be in forums. And I claim them. I even told the PA, when they come, alert me.
I'll tell him I want to go.
Yes, alert me. When they come, alert me. If Jeff is not available, I'm here. And because of these things I've been reading on leadership, I'm also learning strongly to raise my hand, to actually say, I'm here. I can do it. So Jeff will say, can you? I say, yes. I'll go figure out how to do it later. And I am being seen more now. Not only on LinkedIn, I'm also being seen more in my writing in the Business Daily. I am now in avenues with people. And because of the stakeholder engagements for this thing, people are realizing there's a person in NSC who understands this thing on ESG. So they start calling me for functions. I would go for board meetings for BAT. I would go for events for the IRA. I would go for events for Sanlam. I would go for events for any company that is navigating this. And remember, I have the brand for NSC.
Yes.
And I'm getting very interested in this thing. All of a sudden, there's a warmness and an awakening in my spirit. I'm like, I can do this? You mean? Yeah. So
do you go back to HR and tell them, now with all of this work?
I did.
Now can we have the raise?
I did it one last time.
Yes.
But by the time I was doing it, I knew my next move. Let me take you there.
So all this time, no raise?
No raise.
Just work?
Just work. And inshallah. and good, good opportunities to attend, certain things. So no raise so far. And it's now 2021. Eventually we launch the guideline, and now everybody knows the NSC has this thing. And the only person who can talk about it is Loise Wangui. So Loise Wangui is all over the place doing this thing. And I'm getting the industry confidence on it. And I understand it now because I've sat a certification by the GRI, which certified me as a sustainability professional. I've gone ahead to Frankfurt. I sat a 6-month course on climate adaptation finance. So I really want to understand the intricacies of finance and climate. I believed there is nothing new I cannot learn. So I put my head into it and I learned. I got the certification. So I'm getting credibility. There's no raise. We launched the manual in November. And by the time we were launching the manual, I had already set up Protos Capital. I set up Protos Capital in August of 2021. The reason I'm setting it up is I'm realizing there's an opportunity here. I am loving what I am doing. I'm also getting to a phase of unrestlessness. You may argue that is caused by, one, the lack of a pay rise. That's key. But it's also coming as a result of doing the same thing over and over again and feeling like you have exhausted your usefulness in that space. So I'm hungry for something new, for a challenge. And having interacted with this space, I'm finding I have an interest in this area and a lot of passion. I set up Protos Capital August of 2021, but I cannot leave yet. I'll tell you why I cannot leave yet. Because we have loans.
Yes.
Number two, we have not finished this apartment that we are constructing.
On the Kabete land.
Yes. And for me, being the kind of person I am, I want an income that replaces my current income so that I can walk out there with confidence and do my thing. Yeah. So I'm not leaving yet. But I go back to HR. Actually, I don't go to HR. Now I approach the board member in charge of human resource matters. And I tell her it's been like this. And yeah, I think it's time that I get to where I want to be. I mean, I don't know what happens behind those doors. The report didn't come back with anything different. I think I was given a 50K rise. Yeah. But still, between me and that person, actually, it has widened because it was an organizational-wide revision of salary. So it's not peculiar to me.
Yes, everybody.
It's everybody. So it's a market. What do we call benchmarking exercise?
Right.
So they benchmark. We move up. By that point, I'm not so worried. I think I am so intertwined into I need to do something else. Then I can see now I've started to realize the need to have passive income and need to actually liberate yourself from a paycheck. So I'm determined to do this. And I'm seeing, I can already see now, it's becoming clearer because we are near the end. Because the construction ends in 2022 June.
How much does it cost you guys to build the apartment?
It cost us a little over 60 million shillings. And that because we constructed only on the 8th. We did not construct on the other 8th. So the other 8th to this minute is empty. But we have intentions to come back to it. So we have used about 60 million.
And this 60 you've gotten?
This 60,
yes.
We have gotten loans. This 60, I'm a firm, have great faith.
Yes.
At this point, I have grown my faith. and I believe in acceleration. There are moments in your life that accelerates you. We have been accelerated because a woman brings favor to her husband. My husband has favor.
As the Bible says.
Yes. So he has favor.
Yes.
He gets into transactions. And remember now he's at a point where he's not being paid a salary.
Yes.
He's also being paid a commission.
Yes.
Based on the value of the contract.
Yes.
And the work is good.
So he's getting good deals. Yep. He's getting good transactions.
That one, it was one.
Oh, one.
It was one, which was transformative. It was one. It was one. So that's the one that has accelerated this construction. And we have finished.
Right.
The day we finished, I resigned. It was October of 2022.
Without tenants? You don't have tenants?
We have. We got tenants in a week.
You got tenants in a week?
In a week.
How many?
They are 35 units, a mix of 1 bedroom and 2 bedrooms. The 2 bedrooms go for 40K per unit, and the 1 bedroom is, I think, 33 or 34,000. And then there's the ones you build on top after you finish, you add. You add those two. They're called what? What are they called? What are they called? They have a name. What are they called? No. What are they? They're called what? How am I forgetting? No, not a bed sitter. They have a name. Not a studio. They have a name.
Yes, but anyway,
There's two, but they're the biggest.
the penthouse.
The penthouse.
Penthouse.
That's
yes.
the word I was looking for.
Penthouse.
Yes.
Yes.
So there are two of them, and they fetch the same amount as the 2-bedroom because they're very spacious.
Okay.
And also the young people like it. And
So
then
you get tenants in a week.
we got tenants in a week. And remember now, I have a lot of interest in this sustainability, so I make the place very green.
Yes.
Balconies, we have plants. I've seen you have plants here.
Yeah,
And, you know, all that. We do those things. And we finish. And that day, it's October 3rd, 2022. I resign. I say it's enough. It's done. I think I want to do...
Now you're fine.
I have the confidence that even without this income, I have another income
Yes.
that can substitute
will-
this. Number 2, I have told listed companies and businesses in Kenya what they need to do, but I'm aware there's no one out there to help them do what I've told them to do.
Yes.
So let me go there
And be
help.
the person to help them.
Thank you. So that's what is playing in my mind.
Yeah.
At the same place, I'm having a strong knowing, because I think out of staying on a job for quite some time, I was at the stock exchange for 11 years. After staying in that space for quite some time, I think you get to realize there's more for you. And I'm at that space when I'm realizing there's more for me. I'm more confident now. I know exactly what I want. And continuously, I want to amplify this agenda of ESG. But at that point, I'm thinking it from a policy perspective. And every time I would sit and tell God exact thing I want to do, I would see a table with men in suits. And then I'm the one standing up,
Yes.
you know, on a screen or something like that. Then I would say, I want to influence Africa. I want to influence this agenda to customize it for us and to simplify it and demystify what it is. So I had a strong knowing that this is what I want to do. So I didn't. I think the confidence to actually say, now it's time to leave. That was the harder part. But the day I resigned, I have 3 months to serve notice.
Yes.
You don't feel much change.
Yes.
You're not scared yet. No, you're not. Until it's December. It's December 20 of 2022. It's dawning on me. Now we have done farewells for the people who have left. It's my farewell now.
Yes. You're not
It's my
cutting your
farewell.
cake. Yes.
It dawned on me, Loise, you're going into entrepreneurship. Number 1. Number 2, you're going into a field that it's somewhat new,
Yes.
because not many people had seen navigating that space. Loise, you have the backing of the industry from a point of credibility. You know what you're saying. You know exactly what should be done. But you're the one going to do it. It started creeping in.
So now you're moving back from a place of strategic review to now you're going back to do the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now you have to be the doer of the work. You have to sit in and do it.
Yeah.
I'm shaking to the bone. It's my farewell. I can feel it. I can feel the fear. And fear is bad.
But why were you afraid even though you knew you had your income was already supplemented?
I don't know. I think it's just the fear of the unknown, I would imagine. And
It wasn't a money thing.
It was not the money. For me, it was not the money at that point in time. It was that...
Because you are taking care of the money.
Yes. What if I start and fail? And then there was the thing of what if you start and fly? So while I'm at it, I feel mixed emotions. Actually, people would not understand, why are you worried? But me, deep down, I had a fear. And fear is crippling. Fear can cripple you. Sometimes I would second guess my decision. But deep down, I know this is it that I should be doing. But also fear can propel you. And I let it propel me. In that farewell party, I told them, I feel like I'm on a runway. You know, I'm going to take off. And I'm going to take off really big. I said the things that were contrary to what I was feeling. And I'm telling the entire NSZ, bye-bye, guys. You will see me in the industry. I'm going to shake it. I am going to do things. And yeah, I left. My last working day was 3rd of January, 2023. But before I leave, I have a contract. Hey? Me, I'm that person. I am now going to do the same thing,
Yes.
the ESG guidelines for the Rwanda Stock Exchange. This
How
happens.
did you get the Rwanda?
I have peers in Rwanda, and I told them I'm leaving. The CEO of Rwanda Stock Exchange is my friend. So I tell him I am leaving the stock exchange because he had reached out. How can we do this? I told him I can do it for you. But Loise, you're still with the NSC. And we don't want to have, that conflict. I tell him I'm serving notice. I will be leaving.
Yes.
He says, fine, look for a partner to come with because I cannot come as Protos because I'm still an employee. So I get a partner to come with who we now navigate the scenes and we agree. I'm using your whatever and we are going in together. We go in together. We get the contract. So by the time it's January 3rd, me, I'm waiting to go to Rwanda. But the day January 3rd dawned, that is the day I felt and I updated managing partner, ESG lead, Protos Capital, LLP. It's like some weight was lifted off me. I felt so much ease. Like, this is it. Now fly. I can tell you, Barack, for the entire of the year 2023, me have not looked for work. Work has looked for me. We have served stock exchanges. If I can count them, there are now 16 stock exchanges. The entire of the 14 stock exchanges in the SADC region. Malawi, Angola, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Seychelles, South Africa, for sustainability. I have been to jurisdictions I've not been to before. We have served people in the built environment, UK clients. We have served people in SME sector, big and small, in the philanthropy space. Our work, there is no work that has been the same. We have served people in the agricultural sector. And it's when, I think it was just the universe telling me to, step out here, you see what I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
And so, it's been like that.
So you've not had to pitch, you've not had to...
The only time I have pitched was in 2024. I think there was also no time to pitch in 2023 because I'm doing the work.
Yes.
Remember, at this point in time, I have one employee. One.
So it's you doing the work?
It's me and her. We are doing the work. We are burnt out. Then come to the end of 2023, I realized we can do these things. I had another 2. And now this year, I added another 3. So that we can have more hands. And because to also remove me from the working in the business to more like working on the business. Because I'm doing BD, I'm doing the work, and then I chase for money. It's work. All of that is work.
Are you making more now than you did at
I am.
the NSC?
I am.
Okay.
When you do the thing with entrepreneurship, all money does not come the same time.
Yes.
But then there's no limit to how much that can be. Remember there I had a band of 650.
Yes.
No more.
Yes.
And this is gross, so you have deductions.
Yes.
So here I have the ability to make anything. And there have been those moments. Of course, not to say there are months and you ask yourself, wait. Where are we going to get this? Where are we going to pay these people?
Yeah.
But I have to do something. And the reason why I'm saying I have to do something, not that I would not be putting reserves, because also after the first apartment, we decided to go into another.
I thought you said no more land.
No, there's no land. We sold the land.
Oh.
There is no land. Empty.
So the only...
In our name.
Yes.
It's this Capiz, the Kakwata.
Yes.
I mean,
that's the only one.
That is the only land that is empty. We said from that moment henceforth,
No more
that we are
land.
realizing that indeed land banking and all these things does not work for us. As we need something that generates income for us.
Okay. Did you make a profit on the land you sold, at least?
One, we made marginal profit. But on the other 2, the ones I told you were in Morera.
Yes.
Those two, I think it was like a flip. It was a flip. First of all, it took us forever to sell it.
Yes.
To find a buyer. So when we found, fine, release.
So as we wrap up, I have like maybe 2-3 final questions, right? The first one being, I would assume a lot of, like I said, I as people who've watched this podcast know where I've mentioned, I have studied law myself. And I mean, if I think about my law self as I finished KSL, I would want to have had the life that you and your husband are having, in the sense that where you're saying you're both working very successful careers. You bought the land, sold it, albeit you bought it, you've built apartments that you're now making money off of. And it seems like you're making very smart financial decisions that are allowing you to make, more money. I don't know that that's the norm of what everybody sort of goes through. I feel like it's almost, it's more of an exception than the norm, I think. And so I'm sort of wondering. In fact, I'm having a conversation with a partner at, I think he's at, is he at HHM? Is it the HHM? Anyway, one of the big law firms is a partner friend of mine. And he was saying, I don't think you become a millionaire by being a lawyer. And so I guess my question is, and for anyone who's, I guess, in a career space, like, what do you think it is that you guys did that, because based on what you're talking, I'm assuming you guys are like in your mid-40s now, but you've completed building this apartment and it's making money for itself. You've built a house for yourselves. It seems like you have some really good investments. Like, what do you think it's taken to get you guys there?
I think what has largely contributed to that was the confidence to take the risk. And I think that did not come naturally, especially for me. It came from being in the midst of people, and let me say older people, who tell you that these things are possible. Number two, who tell you you'll never get rich, or wealthy, just on your own, either paycheck or on your own money, where you save, then I'll buy land at this point. By the time you're buying that land has appreciated and your money is not growing in the bank. In fact, I say, today, by the way, I don't keep money in a bank. I don't.
Where's all of your money?
Anyway, I'll come back to that. But for me, is that confidence to take the risk, to know, let's try. Let's try. Because even how we finish one, and in a span of another 1 year, we actually say, let's do something else. And we're not using our money. Our money is in that. But you go back to the bank, and luckily we have also had to work with a bank, Gulf African bank, that has really understood us. You know, when they personalize a product for you. Because maybe, but then today, it's very hard for me to get a loan from a bank because I'm not salaried.
Yes.
Salaried people get loans easier.
Yes.
So because for me, they say, Protos, we want to see your balance, all those statements, and they're fluctuating, like I told you. So really, banks will turn you away. But financial institutions must realize that even people in businesses are trying new things, and there are products that can work for them. Gulf African Bank, I commend them because they have allowed us to spread our wings that much, and they have given us the facility to do so. So I think for us, it didn't come naturally. It just came with mingling with people who have done these things, and they show you possibility. And then you say, let's go for it. Yeah, like I told you also, intertwined with this free-spirited
And
archetype of money.
Yeah.
It works. Yeah.
Okay. Did you see this? I mean, even when your husband was professing all of these things to you at 20.
Yeah. 20.
At 20, when you were, going and having to go to a cheaper hospital and things like that. I mean, did you see what your lives are now? Yeah.
I didn't see it, but I believed it. And I can tell you, Barack, there's nothing that we mentioned then that has not come to pass now. Now we are the place where we are seeing bigger things, because I think for me, the investment in real estate does not decay. That capital investment does not decay. It will come back to you. And then, if you can diversify it now, if you have more liquid, put in money markets and all that, diversify. But for us, we are still at the place where we want to plow back. And eventually when we're able to, if we can buy, build, sell, then build again, sell, and then, do the same thing consistently over and over again, it will blow out to something big. Okay.
Yeah. So where else do you have your money other than real estate? And then you sold the land. Money market.
Money markets, yes. And that's an emergency fund.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the money, so it's the real estate, Money market.
And also our businesses now, but we don't have money in the bank. There's no
Right.
money sitting in the bank.
Oh, and now like Protos, like the LLP, or you have other businesses that you've also set up?
No. I only have the LLP.
Yes.
And he has his LLP. And yeah.
Oh, has he also now branched out to do his own?
Yes.
Now he's no longer, like now he's managing partner of his own.
Correct.
His own place.
Yes, but with other partners.
With other partners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's I think definitely one of the more interesting financial stories we've gotten here. I mean, I think from having to go to a cheaper hospital to have your son.
Yeah.
I mean, having your son very, very early on as well.
Yeah.
I mean, to what you guys have been able to accomplish now, I think that is commendable, to say the least. And those sacrifices seem to have made sense now.
I'm constantly told, delay your gratification.
Even now.
To this minute. Delay your gratification.
Yeah.
And Barak, just allow me to say, as we grow these businesses, I read a book that was about how making money is killing your business. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, there's those 5 years we have to put in the work, Mm-hmm. But I think over time, when you step out and actually see, can that business make money for you while you're on vacation? Mm-hmm. I think for me, that will be success.
That will be success.
Yeah.
Okay. My final question is, you said how your career trajectory shifted, I believe it was in 2018.
Yeah.
And this may be difficult to do, but might you be able to give us a guesstimate of the difference it made to your life financially? I mean, because you told us about the branding, and you said you're going to put your hand up more and going to understanding leadership and putting yourself out there more. Can you maybe give us a bit of some insight around what that did for your earning potential when you made that shift? Like I know it would be a guess, but how much more money do you think that shift in that very intentional direction has allowed you to be able to make?
If I can analyze that, and I'll use the salaried bands.
Yeah.
By the time now I am decided I am leaving, I had valued myself and had said, if you're not paying me 1.2 million, I'm not working for you. I am not working for you. So really, I had placed myself at that point based on the investment I've put on myself, the credibility I have, the technical skills I bring, and the strategic thinking I bring. I'm not a leadership level. So, yeah, by the time I was leaving, maybe that was what it was. Of course, it has compounded now into entrepreneurship, largely because in this space, then one thing that has stood out is when your work will speak out for you, but also get out there more. Also shout about what you do. I was not very good at shouting about what you do. So I'm also having the intentionality of speaking out on what we do at Protos. And as a go-to ESG consultancy.
In Africa.
In Africa.
And if I'm just asking you, what are the metrics that you use? Just so it's not like a whatever. By the time you're saying, if you're not paying me 1.2 million, and that's how I evaluate myself, what are the metrics that you used? And if you're able to quantify that against money, if possible.
If possible. It's hard, though.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it from a point of, number one, who am I? So my brand, the reputation. The brand, if you say Loise is our CEO or Loise is our chief, whatever, what does that mean for you? As to whether I can quantify the brand, I'll call it an intangible asset. I'm also looking at the skill set that I'm bringing, the combination of legal, finance, climate, sustainability. And I feel I have gone all round. All around everything. There's nothing you'll mention that I have no idea of. So I'm looking at the technical skill set and the availability of the same skill set, and I am putting a figure to that. The other metrics I'm looking at is, I would imagine beyond the brand is the innovation perspective, where I'm bringing new ideas to your business. So really, I am bringing new shifts from a traditional way of doing things. So the fact that I'm strategically aligning and giving you ways to make more money, we can measure that.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's even helpful. Even just saying that these are the metrics I'm looking at, I think it's even helpful. I mean, maybe. And again, at the end of the day, I read in a book, negotiation is what do people agree? So,
Yes.
if you say 1.2 and someone says cool,
Yeah, fine.
if you say 1.8 and someone says cool,
Fine.
I guess it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on to this on this podcast and this episode. Collins wanted to have you here, and I see why. It's a really, really interesting story. We worked at the same law firm.
I know.
Found out.
Interesting.
Found out here, but that was really
Yeah.
great. And I mean, fantastic episode. I've really genuinely learned a lot,
Thank
and I am
you.
also inspired.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Thank you. It's my hope
Yeah.
that even people watching, especially young ladies, can actually realize that the possibility, women work behind the computer, like I said.
Yeah.
Get yourself out there, shine your spotlight. Let it be known what you're best at. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
It will
universe
happen.
will conspire.
All right. Thank you so much for coming to this podcast. Thanks, guys, for listening to this episode. We really hope you're inspired. I definitely am. And we will see you guys on the next episode of Financially Incorrect next Friday.